Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're regular here, you know I review many photographic, audio and video related products. Well, today we're looking at a lens, and it's a Sony lens. It's the Sony E mount 18 to 135, so 18 to 135 lens, and here it is. Now this lens is an APS-C lens. So it's designed for all the Sony crop sensor camera bodies, anything from the NEX range right through to the latest Sony A6700. So here it is. Now, the reason why I bought this lens, because I've been looking for a long time for a travel lens, an all-in-one lens that encompasses wide angle right through to telephoto. And to find a decent quality lens that covers that entire range, but is also lightweight. I mean, this is only 325 grams, so it's a really compact, lightweight lens. It's normally sold actually as part of a kit lens, so Sony would probably call this a kit lens, but the actual quality of this lens is far better than what a kit lens would produce. So if you are looking at purchasing a camera with a kit lens, maybe the new A6700 or the A6600, maybe the ZV-E10, it might be worth looking to see if you can grab a deal by getting it with this particular lens. Now, I like this lens, as I say, because it is a travel lens, it is a compact lens. That's with it folded down, take the lens hood off, and there is no size to that whatsoever. It's really compact, really lightweight. Put that on your camera body and you can shove that in any really small kit bag. I use a Billingham digital bag, and the ideal thing with that bag is you fit this lens on the camera body, you put the wide angle lens, possibly a 10 to 20. You've got everything from ultra wide to telephoto in two lenses. And you can even possibly just fit it on two bodies. I mean, I've got it on the 6600, take the other lens on the A6700 and the small camera bag, and aren't you really well kitted? And these cameras have got great sensors. The A6700 has got the new backside illuminated 26 megapixel sensor in it, so great for video, great for stills. And it would actually be a really nice combination with the A6700. So the 18 to 135 then, nothing exciting about it as far as buttons and switches. It has got the autofocus, manual focus switch on the side there, which is really good because the vast majority of Sony bodies, the ones I'm looking at here, don't have an autofocus manual focus switch on the body. So to have it on the lens, really quick and easy to get into manual focus. You've got your manual focus ring on the front here, very tactile, nice and smooth, works fine. I don't use manual focus, so I've not had the need to really play with that. The autofocus is so good in the Sony bodies, even the older Sony bodies is so good, but I've not had the need to use manual focus, so I don't use that. Really nice zoom ring. Now it does trombone, so the lens does get longer, gets a bit bigger as you zoom through the range, but that isn't really an issue to me. I don't have a problem with that. Again, because it's nice and lightweight. You would have an issue with that if you've balanced it on a gimbal. So this really isn't a gimbal lens, to be honest. You would probably want to use a wide angle lens or as a wide angle zoom lens if you're using it on a gimbal. This is just my travel lens I would keep in the camera bag, so that doesn't worry me that it trombones. And it doesn't slip either, so you don't need to worry about locking the lens because it won't slip down. It's a really quite a firm zoom ring there, so when you have got it in your camera bag, you don't need to lock it off at its widest setting. Metal construction for the mount, but it has no weather sealing, so just be a little bit concerned, not concerned really, a little bit conscious if you're taking it out into seriously bad weather that you might have an issue. I think light rain and what have you, you're not really going to have an issue, but it is a metal mount, so it'll withstand quite a lot of abuse, I would imagine. Construction is really nice, it's nicely made, even though again it would be classified as a kit lens. It's actually a nicely made lens, and I think it's works out really well. So yeah, now the aperture range is 3.5 at its widest to 5.6 at its telephoto. So 3.5 is quite respectable, to be honest, at its widest. It's still quite good in, reasonably low light, not really low light, but reasonably low light. It's actually slightly better than what the 10 to 20 is. I mean, 10 to 18. That is an f4 lens. So you could be argued that this lens, I've lost it, here we go, this lens is more respectable in low light than what this lens would be. So f3.5 at its widest, I think is absolutely fine. And 5.6 at the telephoto end, yeah, now you're getting into territory of, you know, not great in low light, but it's not very often you're going to be needing, you know, 135mm in, you know, in low light. You might be doing indoor sports, of course, then you might do. You would have to crank up the ISO just a bit to compensate for the fact that it isn't a f2.8 or 1.8 lens. But as I've said in so many reviews, if you look at an f2.8 lens, 135mm f2.8, or even an f4, it's going to be much bigger. And it's going to be more expensive, and it's going to be more heavy. So you've got three factors there to take into consideration: the weight, the price, and its size. You know, this is incredibly compact. So, you know, as I said, it's only 325 grams, so there is actually no weight to it. It's a really, really nice combination for any of the Sony bodies. And also, this lens has got optical steady shot, image stabilization for want of a better description. So if you're using a camera body that hasn't got in-body image stabilization, your quid's in. Now, I've used this on my Sony ZV-E10. The ZV-E10 is up there filming a sort of a generic wide shot. This is a great combination for the ZV-E10, and I would always highly recommend, if you're going to buy a ZV-E10, grab this lens if you want to use it as a, you know, a go anywhere camera body and lens. The body's really compact, the lens is really compact, and with the ZV-E10 that has no image stabilization in the body, so this is great that you've got image stabilization in the lens. With this particular lens, if you're using it with something like the A6700 or the 6600, I mean, these camera bodies do have in-body image stabilization, so not so critical with these particular camera bodies. Now, there is no switch on the lens to turn the image stabilization on or off, so I would think it works in combination with the image stabilization in the bodies of the cameras that do have it, but you can't turn it on or off on the lens. It's done in the camera body, but it has got, as I say, the autofocus, manual focus switch. Now, on a full frame body, 18 to 135 is basically 27 to 200. It's actually 202, but it's a 27 to 200 lens. So 27 moderate wide, right through to 200, which is pretty decent telephoto. So, you know, lovely, lovely lens from that point of view. Now, it isn't really a bokeh lens. It's not really a portrait lens, in all honesty. I certainly wouldn't use it for doing portraits, whether it be of me pets or whether it be of humans, pets, or whether you're photographing or videoing humans. So, yeah, not really a portrait lens, although you can get bokeh with it, but it's not designed for that, really. Again, you need to be looking at prime lenses. You possibly need to be looking at the Sigma, where are we? Don't know where it is. The Sigma 56mm, amazing portrait lens this one is. It's an f1.4, so it's a fantastic portrait lens. That's about 75mm, so I would use the Sigma, or the amazing Viltrox 75mm lens. I'll leave a link at the end of this video to my review of a Viltrox 75mm f1.2. That's a staggering portrait lens, and, you know, beautiful bokeh at a really, really fantastic price. The other alternative, really, to the Sony 18 to 135 would actually be the Sigma 18 to 50, which I have here. Now, this is a constant f2.8 aperture, but the downside with the Sigma, it only goes up to 50mm, which is about 75mm, so it's less than half the range than what the Sony does, and also no in-body image stabilization. So great on the A6600 and 6700, but not so good on the ZV-E10, because that one hasn't got in-body image stabilization, so you end up with no image stabilization effectively if you're using the Sigma, and as I say, it hasn't got such a good telephoto range. Now, let's go through a few images that I've taken with this lens. I've used it primarily on the 6700, but we'll go through a few images, and you'll see the sharpness is really good. It's a nice lens. The contrast is really good. Now, I will leave a link in the description of this video where you can actually view these images much better than viewing them on my YouTube channel. I'll leave a link to my Flickr page where you can take a look at them there. But let's have a quick look at them here. We'll look at them in Lightroom. No particular order, but let's just have a quick flick through these. Now, some are shot at wide angle, some are shot at more telephoto, and a combination of sort of indoors and outdoors. Let's go full screen so we can see. As you see, the sharpness and clarity is really, really lovely. I mean, that is beautiful sharpness. Really, contrast is lovely. And you see, that's wide angle. And that's more telephoto, so it covers a really, really good range. Again, wide angle, lovely and sharp at the 18mm end, and that's at telephoto, standing from the same position. So you can see how much closer you can get. So, you know, great, absolutely great all-round lens. And again, the sharpness and clarity is beautiful, regardless of whether you're using it at the wide angle end or at the telephoto end. You know, just really, really nice. Using it with the A6700, the animal AF works great, and the animal IAF works great on the 6700. The autofocus is fast, it's snappy. That's on both the 6700 and the 6600. I've not tested it on my ZV-E10, but I have no reason to think that it wouldn't be any better or any worse on the ZV-E10. That's a modern camera as well. So yeah, great autofocus, great clarity. There's not really much more one can say about this lens other than if you are looking for a fantastic value travel lens, then this is absolutely one worth considering. And I think one well worth getting. But just, I mean, look at that. Look at the colours. And again, there is bokeh there. The bokeh's come out lovely. It handles the separation, the out of focus separation really nicely. It's not aggressive. It's not harsh. It's nice and soft. So I do like the bokeh that it creates. But you have to get quite close to the subject to be able to create that look and that bokeh. As I say, because of the f5.6 aperture, it isn't really a bokeh lens, but you can do it if you're a bit careful with it. You can create that sort of effect, and it looks lovely. You know, again, I've got here. What is that shot at? What was that shot at? That shot at, well, that's sort of 18mm. So that's sort of its widest angle. And you can see, what aperture did I use out of interest? 160th aperture f4. So that's shot at f4, which is close to its widest. As I say, it's an f3.5. So this one's shot at f4, but there is still separation between these flowers in the foreground and the background. But obviously, if that had been an f2.8 lens, that would have been even more out of focus of background. But I think the actual out of focus area still looks lovely. I don't see it being an issue. I can recommend this lens as a standard kit lens. You'll be able to print these images fine. As I say, the contrast that's coming out of these images is really good. So I can't find anything really to fault this lens. But there we go. Yeah, that's my fairly quick overview of the Sony E-mount 18-135 APS-C lens. So if you want to take a look at the images, don't forget to look at my Flickr page. That would be fantastic. And you know, if you want to leave any comments, leave comments in the comment section. I do read them all. I don't reply to everyone, so I don't have the time, but I do certainly read them all. So there we go. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe as well. I would really appreciate that. Helps me grow the channel, and that's really fantastic. And I appreciate every single person who watches these videos and also subscribes. It means a lot to me. It really does. I don't get paid for producing these videos. In fact, most of us YouTubers don't get paid for producing this content. I do it because I really enjoy doing it. I don't have any sponsors. I've bought all this kit, so I'm not paid by Sony or anyone, you know, to promote their products. I promote what I use. I promote what I like. It's like with a photo editing software. I quite often promote ON1 Photo Raw. In fact, I will promote ON1 Photo Raw. If you do want to use a great bit of photo editing software, use ON1 Photo Raw. There is no subscription. Brilliant bit of software, and I will leave some links in the description where you can download trial versions. And if you do decide you want to buy it, use the code AVP Studios to get 20% off. The same with Luminar Neo. I used to use that all the time. It's a great bit of software. Use the code AVP to get $10 off. So those are two fantastic pieces of software I use on a regular basis. And, you know, there we go. So thanks very much for watching. Stay tuned for more videos relating to video photography, podcasting, so on and so forth. Cheers for now. Bye.